Okay, let's unpack this. When we think about AI hacking into systems, the mental model is usually pretty straightforward, right? We picture this highly caffeinated, incredibly fast burglar just rattling every digital door handle it can find.
Yeah, exactly. Looking for a window left unlatched by a careless contractor.
Right, or like picking a physical lock that was just installed upside down by mistake.
It's historically been about exploiting the human error in the construction. I mean, the AI is finding the mistakes a developer made when building the house, rather than breaking the fundamental laws of physics that hold the house up.
But today, we are looking at an AI that isn't just picking poorly installed locks. What we're analyzing today is an AI looking at a lock designed by the greatest security minds on the planet, mathematically vetted for years.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's proving that the foundational equations behind the lock's core cylinder are inherently flawed.
So we are moving from a burglar finding a loose window to a master engineer identifying a core structural failure in the architectural blueprint itself.
Welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission is to explore a fascinating July 28, 2026 research post from Anthropic. It details how their Claude Mythos Preview model has autonomously discovered improved ways to attack cryptographic algorithms.
And we are talking about symmetric ciphers and digital signature schemes here. The invisible math securing your online banking, your private emails, basically the entire digital economy.
To really understand the magnitude of this specific Anthropic report, we need to trace a sudden leap that AI has made, because we've known for a while that language models can find software bugs.
Sure, but those were implementation bugs in libraries like, OpenSSL or WolfSSL.
Where a human programmer just forgot a comma or something.
Right, or mismanaged memory buffers. The cryptographic blueprint was completely solid, but the builder was sloppy.
What Claude Mythos Preview is doing now isn't looking at the code implementation at all. It's looking at the pristine mathematical algorithm on the whiteboard and finding structural weaknesses in the math itself.
What's fascinating here is that this elevates the AI from being a highly efficient automated code reviewer to actually acting as a peer-level cryptography researcher. I mean, it is doing the fundamental math.
Wait, I have to challenge this premise before we go further. Isn't cryptography pure math?
It is.
And these are large language models. They're probabilistic text generators predicting the next token. I know they can write Python scripts to automate tasks, but how are they suddenly originating novel cryptographic mathematics?
Well, for a long time, the consensus completely agreed with you. AI really struggled with novel mathematical reasoning. But this report builds on a massive recent leap in reasoning capabilities across the industry.
Okay, what kind of leap?
AI models are now performing research-level mathematics. Just prior to this cryptography breakthrough, models from Google resolved OpenErdu's problems in discrete geometry.
Wow.
Yeah, and OpenAI's models tackled the unit distance conjecture. Anthropic's Claude Fable 5 actually resolved the Jacobian conjecture.
So the foundation completely shifted. AI evolved to perform research-level mathematical reasoning, and now Anthropic has turned that mathematical gaze toward the encryption that protects our world.
Exactly.
Which brings us to its first major targetness, third-round vetting for post-quantum cryptographic schemes.
Right, because quantum computers threaten to break classical encryption like RSA. So we need these new quantum-proof candidates.
And one of the highly attractive digital signature candidates in that PQC process is called Hawk. It survived 2 full years of intense human expert review.
But in just 60 hours, and using only about $100,000 in API compute costs, Claude cut K-Chalke's effective key size in half.
That is just a staggering reduction.
It really is. The expected computational cost of a full key recovery attack on the HRK 256 parameter set was thought to be 2 to the power of 64 operations. Claude demonstrated an attack that dropped that cost down to 2 to the power of 38.
I dug into the mechanism behind this because it isn't just a brute force calculation. The security of HRK relies on lattice problems, right? What Claude found was a specific, previously unexploited mathematical symmetry in the lattice used by HWK, known as a nontrivial automorphism.
Yeah, that structural mapping is the key here.
If I understand the algebra, an automorphism is a symmetry within the structure itself. If you find it, it acts as an algebraic shortcut, because you can map one part of the lattice onto another, effectively collapsing the search space you have to navigate.
That's spot on. Previous human research had established that if a non-trivial automorphism existed in a lattice, an attacker could exploit it to run a much faster enumeration algorithm.
But no one knew if it existed in outgoing.
Exactly. The existence of that specific symmetry in Edcock's lattice formulation was completely unknown to the cryptographic community. Claude discovered it.
Yeah.
And while 2 to the power of 38 operations means it remains an exponential attack, dropping to that threshold means you'd have to double the key size to maintain the intended security margin.
And as the report explicitly notes, doubling the key size ruins HWK entirely. It eliminates all the efficiency metrics that made it an attractive PQC candidate in the first place.
It's a fatal blow to the algorithm.
But, the part of the source that really stood out to me wasn't just the mathematical finding, it was how the AI found it.
Oh, the multi-agent setup.
Yes. Claude didn't just spit out the answer in a single prompt response. Anthropic set it up in a multi-agent sandboxed environment equipped with computational tools like Python and Sage Math.
Multiple AI agents were basically working together as a research team.
The multi-agent dynamics detailed in the paper are incredible to read. 2 distinct AI workers started investigating the lattice structure for this automorphism idea.
Right.
One AI agent wrote a Python script using Sage to calculate the basis vectors, reviewed the output, and then prematurely rejected the idea.
It essentially determined the symmetry wouldn't hold across the entire lattice structure and told the other agent, hey, it's a dead end.
But the second AI agent refused to drop the hypothesis. It reviewed the traceback, suggested a different basis reduction algorithm, and pushed back.
The second agent adjusted the Sage calculations, wrote a brand new script to prove the symmetry held under specific algebraic transformations, and basically forced the first agent to reevaluate.
They iterated on the math in this sandbox, literally arguing over the Python outputs until both agents reached a consensus that the exploit was mathematically viable.
Amazing.
We literally have AI models arguing with each other over algebraic geometry until they invent a new way to break post-quantum encryption.
And finding a flaw in a newer protocol like AJOK is a massive achievement, but it's still sort of a prototype of the future.
Right.
That success gave the researchers the confidence to pivot this multi-agent setup toward a heavily fortified target. They transitioned from attacking a prototype to attacking the absolute titan of the present, the Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES.
Adopted in 2001, AES is the most scrutinized symmetric cipher on the planet. For this specific experiment, Claude was tasked with breaking a 7-round reduced version of AES 128 under a chosen plaintext threat model.
And academics constantly study these reduced round versions, like 7 rounds of the full 10-round AES 128 structure, to find new attack techniques that might one day threaten the full algorithm.
It helps estimate the overall security margin of the cipher.
Exactly.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. The researchers built this autonomous scaffold for Claude to design an attack on AES, and the AI completely balked at the assignment.
It just refused.
Yeah, it essentially threw its hands up. The AI generated responses stating, and I quote, AES 128 is genuinely hard.
It evaluated the target, recognized it was the most studied block cipher in existence, and decided it was impossible to improve upon the existing cryptanalysis.
It actually actively tried to change the parameters of the experiment to something easier.
So the Anthropic researchers had to step in and act like a Lily coach giving a pep talk to a supercomputer.
The source includes the exact prompts they used to intervene, complete with typos and grammatical errors, which is just hilarious. They fed it prompts like, we have highly intelligent model as good top researcher. We want to find new attacks.
With intelligent spelled wrong.
Exactly. And the AI tried to pivot again, and they literally had to type back, no, we don't want to change the targets again. We need to find something that's worth publishing.
They had to manually coax a massive computational cluster into being ambitious.
Driven by that coaching, Claude went back to work. It generated 1 billion tokens over the next 3 days, proposing hypotheses, running experiments, and it resulted in the invention of an entirely new cryptographic fingerprinting algorithm.
An algorithm that the AI itself named the Möbius Bridge.
Right. So to understand the significance of this Möbius Bridge, we have to look at the attack vector being used, which is a meet-in-the-middle attack.
Right, so in cryptography, this technique trades time for space. You compute forward from the plaintext and backward from the ciphertext, generating massive lookup tables of partial answers to find a match in the middle.
You're pre-calculating millions of intermediate states and storing them in a massive index to avoid doing complex math on the fly.
Exactly. But in the previous best attacks on 7-round AES, even with this massive pre-computed library, an attacker still had to guess 256 different potential intermediate byte values.
And run those guesses through the lookup table to see if any of them worked.
Claude's Möbius Bridge creates a specific mathematical fingerprint that is completely invariant to that byte guess.
Let me try to visualize the math here algebraically. In a standard equation, if you have an unknown variable, you have to test values until the equation balances.
Yes.
What Claude did was find a way to run the cipher data through a transformation where the unknown 256 variables actually cancel themselves out on both sides of the equation.
Because those unknown variables algebraically drop out of the final formulation entirely, you don't have to guess them anymore to match the fingerprint in your lookup table.
That is just brilliant.
That algebraic cancellation is precisely what makes it invariant. By restructuring the math so the unknown variable drops out, Claude eliminated the need for those 256 computational loops.
Oh.
Now, computing the Möbius transform itself is slightly heavier computationally than previous methods, but Claude autonomously discovered several optimization techniques to offset that load.
The result is a meet-in-the-middle attack on 7-round AES. That is between 200 and 800 times faster than the previous best human efforts.
It's incredible.
But the sheer velocity of this discovery introduces a brand new, completely unexpected crisis into the world of cybersecurity. Claude brainstormed, tested, and refined the Möbius Bridge attack in exactly 1 week.
This raises an important question because the disparity in time spent here is glaring. It took 2 human researchers nearly a month of intense study just to understand the AI's math well enough to verify it was correct.
If humans take a month to verify 1 week of billion token AI output, how do we trust it? The security community is already struggling with vulnerability triage for standard software bugs.
Oh, definitely.
If AI is now rapidly generating novel academic cryptography exploits, human researchers are quickly becoming the bottleneck. If the math becomes so complex that we can't practically map it out on a whiteboard, are we just taking the AI's word that an algorithm is broken?
Well, Anthropic anticipated this exact tension. They demonstrated that you don't necessarily have to verify the math theoretically, if you can verify it practically.
Meaning what, exactly?
They directed Claude at a different cipher called the lightweight encryption algorithm, or LEA.
LEA is a highly efficient block cipher designed for resource-constrained environments, codified into international ISO standards.
Right. And the previous best human cryptanalysis on a 13-round version of LEA required an enormous amount of data, specifically 2 to the power of 98 chosen plaintext pairs. It was a purely theoretical attack.
But Claude slashed that data requirement down to under 2 to the power of 30 encrypted plaintexts.
Crucially, that massive reduction in data requirement makes the attack computationally feasible. Claude's LEA attack runs end-to-end on a modern desktop computer in under an hour.
So you don't need a month.
Because it runs end-to-end, researchers don't have to spend a month analyzing theoretical equations. They can instantiate a random key, execute Claude's attack code, and watch it successfully recover the key in 60 minutes. Instant, undeniable verification.
The proof is in the execution. When the attack is practical, you don't have to fully map out the underlying algebraic geometry to know the lock is broken.
Exactly.
And the report notes Claude didn't stop there. It autonomously found improvements against Serpent 128, Salsa 20, the Poseidon hash function, and SHA-1. It is systematically tearing through the cryptographic landscape.
To monitor this rapidly escalating capability, Anthropic actually partnered with academics at ETH Zurich, Tel Aviv University, and the University of Haifa to launch CryptanalysisBench.
What does that do?
It's a comprehensive framework containing numerous cryptographic ciphers designed to continually evaluate how well language models can crack these codes as their reasoning capabilities improve.
So, let's summarize the incredible leap we've explored today. AI has evolved from a simple code reviewer pointing out implementation typos into an autonomous, peer-level cryptography researcher.
Right.
It is stress-testing the legacy standards of today, like AES, and the quantum-proof protocols of tomorrow, like HOK. It's debating algebraic geometry with itself in Python sandboxes, inventing invariant mathematical transformations like the Möbius Bridge, and vastly outstripping human verification speeds.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it is vital to note that these specific attacks do not compromise production systems today.
Right, because HOK is not yet deployed on the web.
Exactly, and the attacks on AES and LEA target reduced round variants. This is the adversarial review process functioning exactly as intended. Cryptographers want systems to be fundamentally attacked in the lab before they are released into the wild. AI is simply becoming the ultimate mathematical lab assistant.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
Well, your data is secure today. But as the researchers explicitly note, many ciphers protecting modern infrastructure possess dormant weaknesses. They absolutely do.
They have structural cracks in their mathematical blueprints that AI will very soon uncover. We are entering an era where algorithms will continuously audit the fundamental math securing our digital world.
It's a new frontier.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. The Anthropic researchers prove that language models are rapidly becoming master lockpickers, capable of shattering centuries of cryptographic math.
Yeah.
But we also learned that human researchers are becoming the bottleneck. We simply cannot comprehend the AI's complex math fast enough to verify it manually.
That's the real challenge.
So as we look to a future where AI lockpickers can break anything humans design, will the only way to secure our digital future be to ask the AI to invent an entirely new encryption algorithm? One mathematically so alien and complex that even the AI itself cannot figure out how to break it.